So very, very warm welcome to you, Pramoud. Thank you for joining us. And I very quickly, for the benefit of our viewers, want to say, why did I choose Pramoud to be one of the people I want to interview? The reason is that I see him as a trailblazer. I mean, there are hundreds of entrepreneurs out there, but what stands out is a person whose journey will be quite inspiring for people who are watching us. He started from, he came from a background which has nothing to do with business, and he chose to be an entrepreneur and a very, very successful one. He pioneered the concept of CCTVs in India and started a company called Zycom eventually, which became a very big company. But that's not the only reason why I want to talk to him. The reason I want to talk to him is first time when I met him, he said something which impressed me a lot. He said, no, first 25 years of my life, learn. Next 25 years of my life, earn. And the next 25 years of my life, return. And in my subsequent talks with him, I found that he's actually living that, he's walking the talk. So without much ado, let me ask you my first question, Pramoud. Why, what inspired you to become an entrepreneur? Unmute, please.
Sukhdeepak, thank you for having me on this show. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. So, why did I become an entrepreneur? It may sound a bit arrogant, but it was self-inspiration. During my schooling days and my college days, I realized that I had this leadership quality in me. Anything happening, I was the first. Cricket में first opening batsman, bowling में first bowler. तो ऐसा बहुत सारा चीज हुआ, and I felt I had the leadership quality. Plus, I thought, how do you define an entrepreneur? In my opinion, the height of his confidence, the depth of his conviction, and the breadth of his confidence defines an entrepreneur. And I thought I had all the three qualities in me. Plus, I was born in a lower middle class family. Somebody in the family had to walk that extra mile to make a difference permanently in our lives. And last but not the least, in 1988, when I wanted to become an entrepreneur, I had a family meeting, spoke to my mom, dad, and my wife. I said, hey, listen, I want to get into entrepreneurship. They said, what is this? Why are you getting? We are a middle class people. We are salaried people. Don't try all this stunt. But I was able to convince them, and that's where my entrepreneurship journey started in 1988 when I introduced fax machines in the country.
Okay. So tell me a little bit more about that. Tell me about your entrepreneurship journey. Because I can see that when I had a little touch with you back then also, back in the 90s when, you had a partner called Fritz, I believe.
Yes, you
right?
know him good way. Yeah.
And very, very few people had heard of fax machines.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yet you chose that.
Yeah.
I mean, what made you choose a fax machine of all things to sell?
So when I got into business life, the first thing I said it to myself, that I am not going to copy what others are doing in their life. My businesses has to be completely new, innovated, and I'm going to focus on doing new things which others have never tried. So in 1988, we bought fax machines when fax machines were like a washing machine, huge. And in those days, Sukhdeepak, it was costing 2 lakh rupees.
Yeah, right.
Lot of money. And लेने के बाद मैं किसको बेचूं? उसके बाद में तो fax machine होना चाहिए. So we started with that fax machine. It became a super duper hit. After that, in 1994, the telecom revolution started. Pages आया, mobile आया, modems आए. So I got into that business also. Then in 1995, incubated Zycom with cameras and rest of it. So my genre has always been innovation, innovation, and innovation. उसमें risk तो बहुत ज़्यादा होता है, but it's fun. So we don't have to go and copy somebody. उसका template देखो क्या किया है. So that is what has been. So if about my entrepreneurship journey, I have always been doing things first than anybody else.
So what was the driving force for Zycom particularly?
In 1992, Honorable Prime Minister then was Mr. Manmohan Singh. He opened the economy in the country. Globalization and liberalization took place in the country. Also, around that time, the telecom industry also started taking off. Pager aaya, mobile aaya, all those things. And in 1993, if you remember, Sukhdeepak, there was a series of bomb blast in Bombay.
Yeah.
बॉम्बे स्टॉक एक्सचेंज के पास हुआ, प्लाजा सिनेमा के पास हुआ, तो काफी सारे बॉम्ब ब्लास्ट भी हुए. तो मुझे लगा सिक्योरिटी इंडस्ट्री एंड टेलीकॉम इंडस्ट्री ये दो चीज बहुत अच्छी चलेगी बोल के. सो दैट इज हाउ आई गॉट इनटू द बिजनेस. इन Zycom, the com stands for communication. So mobile phone, pagers, modems. So that was one part. Then in 1995, I went to United States to search for security hardware because मैं एक चीज बहुत क्लियर था कि मैं मोबाइल बेच के एक कंपनी नहीं बना सकता हूँ because it's a trading business. मेरा उसमें कुछ भी नहीं है. I'm working on margins. So in 1995, I went to US. I met a couple of companies, had very interesting conversations about India and the security market. They told me India is a poor country. It's a country of snakes and elephants. People are so poor. And why would you need security when you're so poor? Because the image at that time was a third world country. But काफी convince करना पड़ा. And then I came back to India. We launched cameras, we launched home alarm systems, and so on and so forth. And as luck could have it, the first few years were very tough. And then the business took off. So Zycom का driving force was basically the bomb blast that took place in 1993. Also, liberalization and globalization that was taking place in the country. A lot of MNCs started coming into the country. And I knew somewhere that one day this market is going to be big. And I think we have been proved right because today the market is close to more than $2-3 billion in India. अभी पान वाला भी कैमरा लगा रहा है. Everybody is putting cameras. It's very ubiquitous now. You go wherever there's cameras out there. But I still remember the good old days of Zycom when we started selling one camera was a party for us, So that was the driving force. And coincidentally, with all the efforts and good luck and God's blessings and divine blessings, we became the largest brand in the country. So that has been the driving force behind Zycom. And I'm very proud to say that we were able to create the category of electronic security.
Great. So one thing which you just said makes me want to ask you this question. Now, being two things. One, first time entrepreneur in the family with no family business background. Number two, being a pioneer. Now, I've seen many people who come and become pioneers, and because nobody's heard of the product that you are making, it doesn't do well, and they have a lot of challenges. Somebody else comes and makes money after that, but it didn't happen for you, right? So what were the challenges? How did you overcome them? And how did you maintain your first mover advantage? I believe you were the first mover in this CCTV market.
Yeah. So across all my businesses that we pioneered, whether it was a fax machine, whether it was security equipment, whether it was a SaaS business, which we incubated in 2013. So the problems were almost common. The first problem was you have an idea. Whether that idea becomes magic or becomes dust, we were not very sure when we started. So that was problem number one. Problem number two was market adoption. Will the market adopt your products? And will there be an acceptance? And the acceptance was a little tricky because it was depending on the timing. It may take 1 year, it may take 2 years. For example, in Zycom, our business from 1995 till 2008 was flat. We didn't do great in that business. In 2008, when the Taj attack took place, that is the time when the whole business came into limelight. Timing. Tabhi to kuch nahi hua. People used to buy. It's not that we didn't sell, but the real bust came when the Taj attack took place. So timing is very, very important. And that is what I found that The next thing was when things aren't going well, patience and self-doubt works together. We, instead of having patience, I became impatient. Many a time we had a lot of self-doubt. क्या ये चलेगा, नहीं चलेगा, गिरेगा, भागेगा? We don't have anything. Next was, how do you convince your investors and build confidence in them to invest in us? Because investors we need. If you want to grow your business, you need investors. And the next problem was scaling of business and the cash burn. Because cash is king. So you don't have unlimited resources, right? So how do we convert a business model and stop the bleed and generate cash? So that was another challenge. And last but not the least was, without a brand, you can't be surviving in today's world. So brand building and brand acceptance and the trust behind the brand and what you do, I thought these were the factors that possibly I faced, and I'm sure most of the entrepreneurs face today in their business model.
Okay. So you are not a technical person, right? By qualification. Correct?
I'm not.
Yeah, and yet you are running, all your businesses have been tech businesses. So how do you manage it without having the tech background?
Well, I fantasize. I like to fantasize. So when I fantasize, I do the thinking, and there are some good professionals in the market who convert that idea into a product. That is how always it has happened. Then regular pivots in the business, as we move, as we progress, regular pivots take place, sometimes 4, sometimes 6, sometimes 10. So these pivots help us to realign, re-strategize, remodel the business that we are doing. Then a heavy dependence on consumer feedback, consumer insights about what we are doing, whether they're liking it, they're not liking it, what more they're expecting from it, those type of things. And last thing, the real success, in my opinion, is when the rubber hits the road, is when you make your product integral to the customer's life. It has to be integral. And unless it doesn't become integral, you don't see scale. So we try to focus, how do we make our services, our products, our everything to integrate to customers' life. So yes, I'm not a technical guy. I've never gone to any engineering college, nor have I gone to any management college, both. But I think a fair amount of ideation, a fair amount of visualization, and a fair amount of hunch about this may work is what I always depended on. And so far, I have been successful in it. So far.
Yeah, you sure are successful. Very. Now
Thank you.
let's talk about now return phase of your life, because the new venture that you started sounds more like you want to give back to your elders and give back to senior citizens and all that. So can you tell me a little bit about this new business and what's so unique about this business that you're giving for senior citizens?
Sukhdeepak, like you started, when you started, you said there are 3 stages of life. So I'm on my 3rd stage of returning. So when I quit Zycom around 3 years ago, a few things, every brand has a story. So I also have a small story to tell you why I got into senior citizen business. Well, I don't treat it as a business. I think it's more of a social impact work that we're doing for senior citizen. So a friend of mine staying in Borivali lost her father due to dementia. The father goes out, never comes back. After that, a friend of mine whose mom was suffering from fibrosis of the lung needed frequent ambulances. So I saw that also. Every time they wanted an ambulance, it was a nightmare, and these guys used to fleece them. Sometimes what was costing 5,000 rupees is to charge 10,000 and all those things. Then I saw that many a times when I used to sit in Starbucks and other cafes, I saw that senior citizens have a tendency to forget their personal belongings. So what I did was, we went and met around 500 senior citizens across the city of Mumbai. On Carter Road, on Bandstand, on Priyadarshini Park, on Chowpatty, we went and met all of them. And we tried to speak to them to find out what are their current problems. We identified that there are 10 serious problems in this country senior citizens face. There are approximately 150 million senior citizens in this country, out of which 15 million are staying alone. Children are pursuing careers abroad. And around 10 million senior citizens are suffering from dementia. So therefore, we felt that we need to do something for them. And that's how we ventured into this new business model where we humanize safety for senior citizens. We provide them 10 life safety services, ambulance, dementia care, personal counseling, getting back the lost items. Like that, 10 services we created, and all these services are delivered by a 24 by 7 safety station designed for senior citizens. And honestly, we are not looking at making profit or making big money out of it. Our work here is to return back to the society that we did good work over the last 50, 60 years. And most importantly, make a difference in the lives of the senior citizens in their golden years.
Okay, would you like to say something more about it? I mean, how does one, maybe at some point you can provide me contact details, how if some older person wants to use this service, how does he use it?
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, Sukhdeepak. See, what happens is in this country, as I said just now, we have a large population of senior citizens, almost close to 150 million. Now, many of them go into social isolation. Many of them need counseling because the children are not with them. Many of them need frequent ambulances. Many of them, when they lose something to cyber frauds, they lose their mobile phone, they lose their wallets. So it really shatters them completely. So like that, we identified 10 distinct things that trouble them on a day-to-day basis. We said, let us now become their safety companion. So now we become their safety companion 24 by 7, so that if they need any services, we are always there for them during day, during night, anytime they want us. Anytime, anywhere, any place.
So once they sign up, they get some dedicated number where they can call or something like that?
Yes, they have an application. They can use the application. If they want to speak to us, we are open 24 by 7. And all the services are just a click. You click, the services start.
Great,
it's
fantastic.
As simple as that. Yeah, absolutely simple to start the service.
Okay, now one very important question I want to ask you. Look, I'm in the coaching and training, performance enhancement business, and I work with a lot of entrepreneurs. And small and mid-sized entrepreneurs, they have a big challenge. So getting the right people, first of all, getting people to join them.
Yes.
Right. And if you don't select the right people, then they come and use you as a, parking station. They work for a couple of months until they find a better job and then they go away. So how do you select people, to work for you?
So, I look for 4 things in a person. The first thing I look at when I meet candidates, when I speak to them, is their attitude and the spark. Do they have a spark in them? So that's the first thing I look for, attitude and spark. Second is, do they have a passion and a commitment? Can you see that when you talk to them? Are they passionate? Are they committed? The third thing is, do they have a hunger for success? Or are they just coming to do a job for you?
But how do you find out if somebody's got a hunger for success or not?
So you ask them those, for example, I ask a question. Did you come here because you wanted a job, or have you come here to build a career? Are you working for money? Or are you working for passion? So there are techniques of finding that out.
Okay.
So we use that when we talk to them. And if they're telling the truth or the lies, you can make out from their facial expressions or from their eye contacts, you can make that out. And interviews are the best. They talk all the best things in that. So they act also quite well, but you have to have the experience to identify who's telling you the truth and who could possibly be telling you something else. So hunger for success is very important for me. And I don't like jumping jacks. I look at the biodata to see how often are they changing their jobs. I remember my mom telling me, you'll always have Lakshmi and Saraswati in your life. Yeah. So you have to run behind Saraswati and Lakshmi will follow you. So I look for people who are bhakts of Saraswati and not Lakshmi. Because जो लक्ष्मी का भक्त है ना वो आपके साथ ज्यादा दिन रहेगा नहीं, वो भाग के जाएगा. So that possibly answers your question, Sukhdeepak, that will people stay for long? Will they exit? तो ऐसा कोई
Okay.
formula
Okay. Now, another one very important, I think, for anybody who's listening to you. So, people like you will definitely experience their share of disappointments and failures. So, how do you deal with that?
ask me that. Because I have seen success, I have seen failure. I mean, it's a roller coaster ride for me. But very honestly, it's a very hard battle out there. It looks very easy, when you go to sleep at night, those sleepless nights, those tension, the stress that you give yourself and to your family also in that process. So, but I also realized, Sukhdeepak, that failure is not a bad word. I love failures. Honestly, I'm telling you. It teaches you so many things that success never teaches you. I saw success and success and success in Zycom, and towards the end, I saw failure. And what I learned in my failure, I never learned in my success. How friends look at you, how people look at you, how your own people look at you, how your employees look at you, how your business partners look at you, how the world looks at you. Suddenly everything changes. And a lot of issues related to self-confidence, self-trust. The same guy, one day rock star, second day there's no star around us. So those things happen, I think, to most entrepreneurs. It's not only to me, it happens to most entrepreneurs. The only thing I did was I stayed strong and I stayed focused. Because somebody told me, once you give up, the battle is over. But if you don't give up, there's always hope. And we all live in hopes. Every single day we get up with hopes. So I don't allow my hope to die.
Mm.
So
That's
that is
great.
where I come, and that is how I psych myself every morning. Today is another day. Thank God you're alive. Go out and battle it out. So we do that.
Okay, wonderful. Now, the great management thinker, Dr. Shumantro Ghoshal, said that, highly successful people have two qualities. One is high energy and high focus. So you
Yes.
already mentioned about the focus part of it. You stay focused despite whatever might happen, right? How do you keep your energy up?
Okay. So I'll answer it a little differently. So I practice the 6 F's of life. Okay. The first F is focus. I have to be focused in whatever I do. The second thing, I have to be flexible because rigidity doesn't work today's world. The third is I have to be very fast. The world is all about being very fast. The next is having fun. If I'm doing something, I should enjoy it. It should be fun in it. Otherwise, it becomes very routine and mundane for me. Number fifth, very important, to be very fit. And that's where the energy comes when you're fit. Mind, body synchronized, every day go to the gym, go for a walk, lovely. You come fully charged, fully energized. Age is just a number there. So these 5 things, and the sixth thing is if I don't do all these fives and these fives don't synchronize, I just fish out from that place. I don't stay there anymore because I say this is not my cup of tea, better do something else in your life. So I follow the 6 F principles, and to be very honest, it's worked for me. I don't know about others, it's worked for me. I believe in fitness, I believe in being fast, I believe in being flexible, I believe in focus. So these are my mantras.
And one more thing, when I heard from you when we were talking that you are very passionate about your Harley and taking off on your motorcycle. How do you make time to go off on your slow motorcycle journeys?
Wow, I think everybody has time. It's only how you prioritize your time and what you love. If you love something, you will always find time for it. So, I realized very early in my life that being fit mentally and physically is very important for success of any business. There are hundreds and hundreds of case studies where CEOs are not fit, are not able to run businesses. So I decided that I have to be fit all times, mentally, emotionally, physically, and all those things, and financially also. So fitness is my topmost priority. So when I'm biking and answering a question, when I'm on the bike, the two-wheeler moves my body, but my soul also is moving with it. And that's introspection time for me. When your mind is at, you're thinking about business, you're thinking about life, you're thinking about everything about you, and you're going at top speed, you are braking, you are charging your energy. You are also reflexes get charged in that process, and business is all about reflexes, how soon you respond, how quickly you take action. So Harley riding has always been a wonderful thing. I do every year a trip to Leh Ladakh, 7 days on the mountains, whole day. It's fun.
You still do it? I mean, I think you are now around 60 or more.
Yes, I'm in my 65 today,
Why you
but,
don't look like it?
but all my habits are what I was in my 25 years.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. Now, what advice would you give to now the new, startups and new entrepreneurs that are popping up all over the place?
So one simple advice, I'm nobody, I'm also normal entrepreneur. I think my advice is lage raho. So, be focused, don't give up, because many a times when we're about to achieve success, we say, "Abhi bahut ho gaya, chhod dete isko." So
When you're at the tipping point, many people give up. Yeah, you're right about that.
I have done it many a times, but luckily for me, I pull back. So pull back is very important for success, because I believe the whole race of humanity today, 7 billion people wake up every morning with a hope that today something is going to happen in my life. I think we chase two things, two H. One H is happiness and one H is hopes. Without these two things, life is zero. So that's what my answer would be to all entrepreneurs. Don't give up hopes and don't stop chasing happiness, because they're interrelated. And hamesha lage raho. If not today, tomorrow. If not tomorrow, your time will come when you will be shining. Rise and shine every day. That would be my mantra to them.
Okay, so that is your mantra for success?
Yes, very much. I practice it, so I'm telling you what I do.
Great. Would you like to summarize your mantra for success one more time, like the 5 F's of yours?
Well, it's 6 F's. I'll say it again. My mantra of success is my 6 F's. First one is focus. Second one is being flexible. Third one is to have fun in what you do. The next one is to be fit in what you do, because without fitness, nothing works. And the last one is, in case all this doesn't work, you just fish out from that place and start and do something new in your life.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Anything you'd like to say as your last words?
Well, I must thank you, Sukhdeepak. I think you calling me and wanting to speak to me is itself an honor for me. And before I sign up, I must say that you are a wonderful person. I've always enjoyed talking with you. I gained so much of knowledge from you. We all are, whatever success I got, whatever failures I've achieved, I always believe we all human beings are WIP till we die. So
that's true.
I've learned a lot from you also. Thank you so much for all the learnings and knowledge you have shared with me. Bottom of my heart, I'm telling you, on acknowledging in front of everybody that I do look upon you for many of my lessons. And I see your podcast, I see your videos also. You're doing some amazing work for the humanity and the race as such. And God bless you and give you a long life. And I hope many more people are going to benefit from your learnings.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Those words mean a lot to me. Encouragement is the fuel that everybody needs, I think. So thank you a lot for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sukhdeepak, and thank you very once again. Bye-bye.